welcome to the Tonny and Tim show. I'm Tonny.
And I'm Tim.
And welcome back from that long football weekend, of course, that we had across the Premier League. There was very, very interesting football that climaxed last night in one of the weekends. Almost very, very surprising results there. Liverpool travelling to the Liberty Stadium at Swansea. And we'll get to that result in the second team. But we kicked off that weekend with a very, very big win for Chelsea. They travelled to the Amex to play Brighton, and they had a very big 4-0 result there that they recorded without their star man up front, Morata.
Yeah, Tony, it was a resounding win for Chelsea. Yeah, you said no Morata, even Pedro was not there. But the three guys who played, this made Antonio Conte change the formation. And I started realizing, I think he needs to go back to his, back 3-5-2-3 or 4-3-3 Tony. Because Hazard, Willian, and then Batshuayi, these guys were ticking so well. And I think this formation disorganized Chris Hughton's side, and losing 4-0. I thought Brighton should have had a better go to this game, but it seemed they waited to be beaten, and yes, they got beaten.
Of course, it was an interesting game. We would have thought that it was a routine win for Chelsea, but it was interesting to see how that happened without their number 9. Of course, they had Batshuayi in the team, 4 goals, and he wasn't on the score sheet, but certainly putting in a better shift in this game, better than we have seen him in the past.
Yeah, Tony, you look at it, him as a player, Batshuayi, he should be asking himself, how come I didn't get into the score sheet? But when he looks at his performance, or when the coach looks at what he did, Tony, he had, 1 assist in that game. And then also the 4th goal, he made a run and drew away 2 defenders, giving Hazard space. So well done to Batshuayi.
And of course, Hazard was on scintillating form in this one. They'll be hoping that he maintains that form going into the very busy February month when the Champions League comes back. And of course, they have a replay against Arsenal in that cup that they have to play this midweek.
Yeah.
So we'll be hoping that maybe Chelsea fans and the manager will be hoping that Hazard goes into that period in this kind of form. He was scintillating, scoring football.
Tony, if you're to mention Chelsea or Chelsea's form, then you have to have Hazard around that statement. And yes, he was scintillating, as you say, in that game. And they also expect him to now keep this form going to the end of the season, especially next month in February, where they have that heavy game against Barcelona.
Of course, it will be interesting, but that win taking them back into 3rd place over Liverpool there. And of course, on that same evening, we had Arsenal hosting Crystal Palace at the Emirates, a game that we might have thought would have been tougher for Arsenal, but 4 goals inside 22 minutes. Almost was game over.
And you can mention 3 goals inside 10 minutes, Tony. It was goal after goal after goal. And I was asking myself, what is the motivation? Are these guys trying to say, Sanchez, this is what we can bring to the table without you? I think that was a statement Sanchez would have admired that game if he watched it, Tony. But it's good to mention that when they set up this team to really, go for this game, I didn't expect Arsenal to beat Crystal Palace
with this margin.
With this margin, or even in this space of minutes, Tony. Hawkson really prepares his team to try and at least hold the game to some point in the second half before you can lose it. But well done, Arsenal.
Of course, Arsenal had a very, very brilliant game. They had 2 of their biggest defenders coming back.
Yeah.
Monreal and Koscielny were back in this one. They've been some of the better performers for Arsenal in this season. And Monreal came with a goal and 2 assists. Very interesting that Crystal Palace were being beaten at set pieces.
Yeah, Tony.
We don't expect this from a Crystal
I wanted to mention that. It's like every corner kick that came in, these guys just couldn't defend. And we're talking about guys who have big players. Bakary Sako, Tony, they have Benteke. These are guys should be able to see off the fast ball into the box, but none of them. So this well done, Arsenal. So I can simply say Arsenal is improving in scoring set pieces. Usually they are poor side in that, Tony.
Of course, Arsenal hasn't been good going into the set pieces, but they had a very, very resounding win there. Of course, without Sanchez, who has now finally been confirmed as a Man United player. He was revealed yesterday to the press and to the rest of the world. But it was also a very good day for Lacazette, who finally got a goal after 9 games dry.
It's a morale booster against just 1 goal. When we've said in the previous game, Chelsea scored in 4 goals, and Batshuayi was not in in the score sheet, this Arsenal team also got 4, and their number 9 got a goal too.
And of course, it was good news for him, especially with all the news surrounding Arsenal and Aubameyang. It was a timely reminder and boost for him to tell everyone that, guys, you don't need a number 9. I'm here, you can count me in. But of course, it was a big win for Arsenal, taking them 42 points. Now just 5 points behind the 4th place, looking almost likely that maybe at the end of May they may have been.
This is the beauty of the Premier League. One weekend you
counting someone out.
You counting someone out. The next week, even 2 days later, you're counting them back in, and we just don't know when, Tony, we shall say this is the top 4.
This week, this league is definitely very interesting. I'm sure for everyone back at home, you watch it with the same fascination that we watch it with. But it was another very, very interesting weekend, of course. Big win for Arsenal, big result for Wenger, of course, after there was a lot of talk that maybe this season is the season that he has to go away for sure. Their results haven't been going his way, but he had a very, very big win, timely reminder, and Manchester United travelling to the Turf Moor after that, and having a very narrow win.
Tony, you mentioned Turf Moor, and I said it in the previous game. This is a tough place to go to.
It's definitely
this Burnley side tries to grind out a draw over the big giants. They find it hard to beat them. If you look at Arsenal, so won 1-0 in that fixture.
Let's go.
Very, very late, Tony. But I thought Sean Dyche should have tried to attack a bit. Yes, Manu had most of the ball, but his team did not give it his all. And I wonder what does this Burnley team need? It's like they've lost the grip. They've been dropped off the table. I think now Leicester is ahead of them in the table, and you start wondering, has Sean Dyche made the points in that he thinks he's safe, but you need to give the fans something to cheer about. Nonetheless, you have to also mention this Mourinho side, Tony. We know Mourinho likes these Lender leagues. They have hit him back in the day where a team comes to equalize, and I thought this was the day again Manu will concede a very, very late goal. Lucky enough, they saw it off 1-0, and well done United. They're still keeping in touch with the 12 point gap, which I think Tony's gone. But some Manu fans keep saying 20 years ago, I think, 1995, the Newcastle thing, and I'm telling them, Man City is a different animal.
Things are complicated, of course. We know who the whole league is chasing, and we don't think that Guardiola will be relinquishing those 12 points. But there was a very, very big positive for Anthony Martial. He had a very well taken goal in this one. It might have gone out, but it was sweetly taken.
I thought he mistimed it, though still the power was enough to keep it inside that rectangle. The only worry now this Martial boy has in United
is the arrival of Sanchez.
Alexis Sanchez has come in, and this guy is a king, Tony. He knows the game. He is part of the game, and I don't see United putting him on bench. Even if they have a game tomorrow, he must start delivering. I don't know. The figure is still not known. These transfers where there are 2 players in it usually fail to know the exact figure of this player. But Alexis Sanchez is the one guy who's going to walk into United, and he's going to take that spot, the number 11 of United, meaning Martial and Rashford are going
to start thinking about the right
wing. And I don't know, Tom, what's your view for these 2 boys?
I've said it every time we talk about these 2 guys. They've had a chance to improve. They've had 2 years almost now to see where they fit in the squad. There's a gaping gap in Manchester United on the right wing. They've not been able to capture that spot. They have the pace, they have the power, they have the ability to take up any position up front. They need to just make themselves more flexible and give options to the manager. Because now Sanchez comes in at 29 years old. He doesn't look as flexible as these young guys. So they suddenly need to think about capturing that right wing. It's a position that they must walk into.
Can I pose a question to you now? If these 2 guys, that's Martial and Rashford, are going to look at the right wing, number 7, who do you think is best suited for number 7?
I certainly think it's Rashford. I think Rashford is the most suited player for a change of position. Martial is plays more as a number 9 that likes hugging the left wing. But Rashford suddenly has a bit of more pace and looks like maybe he's the likely person that might be able
and I've seen, I think, Rashford whipping passes sometimes. Maybe
he has a very good delivery as well, and with it, of course his free kicks improving. We will just hope that maybe he can be able to whip in those crosses that Lukaku can be able to feed on. He hasn't had the delivery that he would have expected from the wingers, both from the left and the right, with Manchester strikers trying to cut in and maybe try the intricate passes. But they should be able to bring those crosses. Lukaku was feeding off Bane's crosses in Everton, as well as Aaron Lennon and all the guys. So he needs that kind of service, and a right-footed player needs to go into the number 7 for Manchester United. At least at some point.
I also think so too. It's a space which we have to keep an eye on and shall bring it.
Of course, it's a World Cup. Yeah, you can't afford to sit on the bench just because you can't be flexible in the squad. Especially these are very young guys. I believe that they can be able to switch there. But we had a very, very big win, of course, for Manchester United, keeping that 12 points gap. They'll be hoping for more slip-ups. It was 15, now it's 12. Mourinho will be hoping that Pep will slip up a little bit. But of course, that did happen late on Saturday evening when Pep and Man City hosted Newcastle at the Etihad, whipping them 3-1.
Yeah, Tony, it was 3-1. You might think this was a big margin, but I thought Newcastle gave in something. Unlike the home game at St. James, where they just went back and decided to defend the entire game. Benitez tried, I think, to confuse the fans, because he tried to move in the first 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, his team decided to fall back, and they decided to defend. It's until this City side got a goal, this guys got disorganized the goal, so they didn't know what do we do. But Tony, at 2-1, you thought maybe Newcastle has something, and there was a chance by Diame that the Man City goalkeeper Ederson fumbled, and I'm still questioning how good is Ederson. People say he's good, Tony, but he makes
good with his feet.
Good with the feet, because with the hand still is not comfortable, Tony. And I don't know what to say. Everton win for Man City. What can I get? I'm trying to get a positive from Newcastle, but I cannot find anything.
Of course, one positive is that they had a very sweetly taken goal by Jacob Murphy. It was a point when we saw Guardiola putting his hands in his hair, saying, is this the time the game is going to shift? It was not to be, of course, Sergio Aguero getting that hat-trick in that game. Very, very scintillating player. We all know that right now, Man City are short of options up front. And if anything were to happen to Aguero, luckily for them, he has been in fine form and fine health. So they'll be hoping that definitely he keeps pushing with that. But Man City, of course, had a very, very brilliant game in this one. There were just a few times that Newcastle was trying to threaten. They had some chances. The Diame chance was very wonderful. We might have hoped that maybe a goal would have come and we would have seen a 2-2 and see what maybe everyone would have fallen back to defend. But of course, Man City kept their winning now the 1-match winning streak after that loss against Liverpool the week before, and now they keep their match on top of the table. Of course, 12 points, they still lead there. And of course, on Sunday we had some action. Tottenham missing out big time on a chance to close that gap ahead. Just behind Liverpool. They drew 1-1.
With Liverpool not playing until Monday, you would have thought maybe Pochettino has to capitalize and close this gap and see what
happens. To see what happens.
Yeah, wait to see what happens. But I had predicted, Tony, that this
would be a tough one for Spurs.
Yeah, it was a tough one, and I went for a draw. Luckily, it became a draw. The reason why I was saying this, Southampton, Tony, we all know, does not deserve to be in this relegation dogfight. They do not. And seeing them at 21 points with the bottom team at 17, then I thought they were going to up their game and try to find something in this game against Tottenham. And yes, they got a draw. It might not boost them a lot, Tony, but a point against this big ball, top 6 side. We're again saying top 6. Arsenal win. I thought Pellegrino will take that and say, guys, let's begin from here. Let's start getting points. Everyone is targeting the mark of 40 points. and this 1 point here against the big boys can count that day.
Of course, it's a big boost for any team that's in a relegation for you to go, and you need to hope that that momentum keeps on. You need to keep pushing.
Yeah.
Of course, in this game, they didn't score. There was an own goal by Davison Sanchez, the Spurs defender. But you need to build this momentum. You need to get these points from the big boys and make it count against the lesser sides, which Southampton haven't been able to do this season.
No.
They very frequently they've been struggling a little bit. It's a very big surprise for me that Mauricio Pellegrino has not lost his job yet.
Yeah, Tony, it's surprising. We had predicted this guy to be one of the coaches who should have gone by now.
But at least before Marco Silva.
At least before Marco Silva. But we've known the hierarchy of Southampton. They're very patient. If they're going to fire you, it's always at the end of the season and they let you go. Maybe that is something they have started discussing, and we shall also keep watching this space. Otherwise, Pellegrino has totally not delivered in this team.
Pellegrino has a couple of games to save his job though. I don't think that it can go on like this. If he now misses out on a couple of next points, maybe the next 3 games, and loses them, it will be a problem.
Yeah, Tony, but if you watched or witnessed most of these teams, when you get into February, March, then you start saying,
safe.
No, what I have, I'm gonna stay with it, whatever happens. Because changing a coach with 10 games to go, it's a bit tricky because it might take 4 or 5 games to settle. Take the case of Alan Pardew. If Soton did that and the coach is still new years, he cannot make points the first 5 games, what do you do next? So Pellegrino is almost getting to that safe zone where they say, we shall go with what we have.
Of course, that must not be relegation for Southampton. We all love watching them in the Premier League. They certainly have the quality. Yeah. But we had Hurricane scoring in that goal. Yet again, keeping his match towards the Golden Boot for the 3rd season in a row. Very, very brilliant guy. He has tried to play as much as well. But of course, it was drop point for Tottenham Hotspur in that game. They missed out, like we said, a chance to close the gap on Liverpool that had a game late on Monday night. We have been saying this all the time. Why does Liverpool keep faltering when they have the expectation on them to win?
Tony, you will not say this is on the coach. It's Liverpool as a club. Because Tony, all teams have played. You know your current position, and then you know what the result is going to do to you. Liverpool, so Tottenham.
You know who you're playing against.
You know who you're playing against. And yes, with all due respect to Swansea City, Tony,
they've been poor.
This Liverpool team had beaten the best team in the league.
And they were traveling to the worst.
All you just need is briefly kept the performance and then see of these guys. But as soon as Liverpool went into, I think, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and they're not breaking down this Swansea team, you will see Swansea starting to grow into the game. And it was interesting. I was saying if Swansea get the first goal, they will raise that crowd at the Liberty Stadium and might become hard for Liverpool, and it turned out to be that.
Of course, they've been looking for something to be positive about at the Liberty Stadium. It hasn't come yet, but a big win for them in this one. Of course, their coach will be very pleased with the spirit that they put up in this one. A goal coming from Alfie Mawson. But the nature of the defeat for Liverpool, especially that in this game they had a change in the 11. They brought in Virgil van Dijk, who just missed out on the Man City game.
Yeah.
Their £75 million signing. They would have hoped that maybe their defense would improve, and it was a bit of a lapse from him that caused the goal actually.
Yeah, Tony, if this is the worth of £75 million, then Van Dijk did audition well. Poor. Not only for the goal, Tony, but the clearance that led to the goal. And just before that clearance, there was another clearance from Virgil van Dijk. And then you start asking yourself, was it the confidence lacking? But you cannot say confidence because he had some brilliant passes when he got onto the opposite half. There was one missed chance by Salah that he had almost assisted. So this guy has the quality. But those lapses, as you call it, led to this. And the smaller teams like Swansea target a set piece, and there they got one and took it home.
It was very interesting. Swansea have been poor all season, and it's not by surprise that they find themselves in the bottom place,
Yep.
17 points in all those games. They come hosting a Liverpool side that has just beaten Manchester City. We saw the comments that the coach made at the end of that game, saying that Liverpool are almost like a very fast car. A Ferrari,
Yeah.
if you put it in traffic jam, it will not run. It will not have anywhere to run.
Tony, and I think we've mentioned it before, that Liverpool seems to only have one approach, and that approach is let's attack the other team. You were always going to know that Manchester City and Swansea are two different clubs. One is going to be open, trying to hurt you.
Trying to attack.
The other is going to sit back and say, open for me space, and maybe I can.
I'll get one opportunity.
I'll get one opportunity. And the Liverpool team just could not break down these guys. And Tony, one article said Liverpool losing Coutinho might hurt them more than getting in
That Van Dijk.
And Tony, yesterday, you would have looked at this game and needed that inspirational player who is going to break the team right from the middle. Because Salah was being outplayed, almost man marking him. Mane could not find space on the right. There was this guy from Tottenham, Norton. He almost outplayed Mane on that side. And I thought maybe we're bringing in Lallana would have helped, but also didn't pay off. So Jurgen Klopp should know when his team needs to attack and when his team should know that we're going to break this guy slowly.
Very interesting that you mentioned the gap that Coutinho leaves. When you look at the way they set up now, Liverpool, especially aside from the Man City game where they were running, it was a lot of running and getting onto those balls. They now don't look like they have a number 10 in their side.
Yeah.
Because when you look at Chamberlain, he's more of a centre midfielder. Chan is a centre midfielder, almost holding. Wijnaldum is a centre midfielder. There's not really a number 10. So of the three already, we don't have a number 10. So they have Firmino and Salah and Mane, who are almost wingers themselves. So there is a gap behind the number 9.
There's a big gap.
There is a lack of someone that can be able to create those spaces.
Tony, yesterday, during the game, you'd have expected maybe Wijnaldum to be substituted by Lallana. But Jurgen Klopp instead removes Chamberlain and brings in Lallana, and then there was some confusion. I think even the fans were reacting to it. They needed to attack, and I thought Chamberlain attacks better than Wijnaldum, but Liverpool needs to know when are we playing a big boy and when are we playing a small boy.
But what is this about this being hot and cold? We talked about it in the previous episode. We said, will this be a time when Liverpool shows their weaknesses once again? You go and beat Manchester City, a team that right now on current form can beat anyone in the world. You go and beat them convincingly. You have a very brilliant win, and you fail to take points from Liverpool.
Tony, I have mentioned it. I cannot explain.
Of course, it was a bummer for everyone. We had hoped that Liverpool would keep that momentum going, especially they had gone above Chelsea the previous week when they won at Man City. They would have hoped to keep that momentum going, get into the third place. It's a safer place to be than to be in fourth place. Now that Tottenham is breathing down their neck, it's a very
and even Arsenal, 5 points is just 2 wins away.
Very interesting this league can get, but that was a very, very poor performance from Liverpool, and Jurgen Klopp will be hoping for a very, very brilliant performance when they come back in the league in the next round of fixtures. But it was a very interesting weekend overall. Of course, we climaxed that on Monday. We had a lot of news with Sanchez and Mr. Mkhitaryan switching clubs. Everyone now is in the number 7 shirt, and we'll be hoping that they hit the ground running in their new clubs. Of course, all the fans there very, very excited about the prospects that especially Sanchez takes to Manchester United in this close season, but especially that Arsenal hasn't been playing in the Champions League. He's not cup tied for the Champions League, so he can be able to.
He's not cup tied. And Tony, if there's any chance for Mourinho maybe to stamp his name in United, he has to start looking at Champions League, Tony. I mean, Tony, Sanchez in your team, and we're talking about United. They almost have had everything, let alone their defense still not yet proper. But Sanchez in that team, you almost complete, and you can try matching the big boys. I think the 12-point gap in the Premier League is something too wide that Sanchez won't do much to close it. But let him try at FA Champions League, it should be. And on the other hand, Tony, I think Mkhitaryan was was underrated in United and wasn't given the time he deserves. I am going to watch this based on Mkhitaryan might be a hit in Arsenal.
Of course, everyone will be hoping that these players, they've had big money contracts being signed while they were traveling across Manchester and London. But it will be interesting to see how they hit the ground running. It was a very, very brilliant weekend. Also in the league, we had a World Cup who traveled to left Arsenal to Everton, having his first game for Everton and assisting there. It was a very good day for him. And of course, there was bad news for Watford fans. Their coach, Mr. Marco Silva, getting axed on Saturday after they lost to Leicester City, a team that has been on form of late, playing very, very brilliant football. They lost there 2-0 away at Leicester, and that coach sacked there. And the replacement announced less than 24 hours.
Yeah, Tom, this shows Marco Silva that there was something in the back room which he was not aware about.
I think the hierarchy was not happy when he showed interest in it.
That is the reason they have come out. They have mentioned, Tony, that the moment Everton approached Marco Silva,
his head got turned,
and he has failed to switch back ever since that time. And they say it's something they cannot work with, and they simply had to lay him off.
Of course, Marco Silva, we all know, is a brilliant coach. We didn't expect that he might be a casualty, especially with the early season form that Watford had. But they've been struggling in the past couple of games, of course. So much so that they had to sack him at this point in time. Of course, 14 games left in the league. It's open for everyone. At the bottom, Swansea got 3 very crucial points, taking them to 20 points. Now only 3 points behind the team in 17th place, so only a win can take them off that bottom place. And they are only 8 points between Swansea and in 20th place and 9th place Leicester. So 9th place Everton, sorry. So we'll be hoping and praying and seeing how this table changes a lot across the next couple of fixtures.
It's only, we mentioned it off air, that this is the season where
we don't know who's going down.
We don't know who's going down, and it's going to upset a lot of clubs, Tony, because unlike previous seasons, the bottom 2 always, you start seeing them by the time you go into December, January of the following year. But this season, Tony, we've say Swansea has 20 points now, and Southampton has 22. You've said 8 points up to 9. It means all those teams are casualties. And come that day, Tony, if you're not prepared to go down, you may go down.
Of course, we'll be keeping our eyes very, very open on those last 14 fixtures, of course, that will be coming up. And it will be a big weekend. Of course, this week we have Arsenal taking on Chelsea in that return clash in the Carabao Cup there, of course. And at the weekend, we'll be having some FA Cup fixtures coming up. Be keeping your eyes open for all our predictions and all our match news on that page, on our Facebook page, the Tonny and Tim Show, as well as the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share our videos. We'd like to thank you once again for all your time, for giving us the comments, giving us the predictions, and sharing us with the news, and how excited you've been over this transfer period. We've been getting a lot of messages from Manchester United fans and Arsenal fans as well. Very, very excited about those big transfers. It was hovering for a very long period.
Yeah,
it had to come to an end at some point. And of course, we are also excited, waiting for in these last days of January to see what happens in the market. Maybe your club will be the next to get a big money signing. Of course, while we wait, from us at the Tonny and Tim Show, goodbye for now.